Ready to start?
Yes.
Start.
Oh, I'm starting the show?
Of course, you always start. You're
I didn't
Kelly.
know. I thought you had already started the show. Here we are. Last week, not my greatest week in life, but I wanted to say thank you for everybody at SuperBook for filling in for me last minute and subsequently giving me some time and that's always nice to have I won't call them an employer, but people that I work for to be able to give me that. So I just want to say shout out SuperBook Sports.
Do you work for anybody at SuperBook Sports? Do you have anyone that you consider to be an authority figure?
Yeah, I would probably say Kristen is probably my boss.
Kristen?
Like, wouldn't you? Like, if I need something,
So
that's who I go to.
So you consider Kristen your boss? What about Mike?
No, Mike's definitely my boss. He went to KU. Why would he be my boss? Why would a KU grad ever be my boss?
I don't know. I got some great friends.
Fake drinking out of a Kelly and Murray mug from like
no,
2018?
It's product placement. It's just water.
Is there anything in it?
Yeah, water.
Oh, okay. I actually thought there was nothing in it, which made it funnier.
No, that would be funny.
You don't even sell those anymore.
When all the water's
gone. Did we make any money off those? We didn't even make any money off those.
When the water's gone, I'll just fake sip it, like just so I can show it over and over again. So they want us
doing anyway.
The first thing they want us to talk about is Colorado storms the field after winning in overtime. They were a 23-point favorite. Do you agree with them storming the field, or are you bothered by that? You're easily bothered. What do you think?
I'm not easily bothered by anything.
Yes,
like in life, I could give any fucks about what other people do, what they say. It doesn't bother me. They're college kids. Mm-hmm. That team has sucked since they won a national championship in the 90s. Like, come on.
Yeah. You can't say
we're still a complete and utter asshole fan base, and all Dion did was bring that back. So, of course, they would storm the field as 23-point favorites. They're 18-year-old kids. They live in Boulder. You know, Boulder used to be one of my favorite places on the planet. Not so much anymore.
It was a long answer. You can't say sucks, asshole, or fucked. You can't say any of those 3 words. So, a lot of work for the editing department. I fell asleep.
Of course you did.
I fell asleep. I was trying to watch this game. It ended too late. Like, how did people watch it on the East Coast?
Late. Seriously. I was watching on the East Coast. I got stuck behind the Vols on the way to pick up Brett at the Gainesville airport. He came back from Vegas, and I was at my dad's house outside of Gainesville. And I got back, and like this game was like, you couldn't turn it off. It was like must-see TV. Like, there was guys poking each other in the eye. There was crazy late hits. Travis Hunter ended up in the hospital. It was like a UFC football match. How could you fall asleep? It was like the least boring football game I think I've watched like my entire life.
Well, I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning on Saturday because Liverpool played. They had a 4:30 a.m. match. So I was up super early to watch that.
Oh, yes. That seems like a great reason to wake up at 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
Anyways, Colorado, one of our best results of Saturday. Colorado State covering, I should say. That was one of our best results of the day. They want to do this. You don't want to talk about this, do you? You don't want to talk about Buffalo won. Denver
no, actually, we do need to talk about it. I'm very glad you sent me a tweet of saying that Chase Young was going to be playing for the Commies, and you said, "Does this scare you?" And I said, "Absolutely. Of course, it scares you. Anytime you're taking Denver, Denver is just a trash favorite." And you elected to take Buffalo. You poked me enough, so thank you for that, because I used Denver in 3 other survivors.
I want to air a grievance here. So I went back, I looked through my text with you. I asked you about Survivor 3 times.
Yes.
So
and I said I didn't care whether it's Buffalo.
No, but
or
I'm
Denver.
just asking, like, just so I know moving forward, because it's only week 3. So you consider 3 extremely brief interactions about it, talking about it way too much?
Yes. Chris and I decided on Buffalo on Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys and I decided on the Broncos on Monday. Ben and I decided on the Broncos on Tuesday. Everybody else said Buffalo on Tuesday. And here you are on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday going, you want to take Denver?
No,
you asked me 3 different times.
It was Thursday, Friday, and
Saturday. Okay, whatever.
And
the point being,
each interaction lasted like 10 seconds.
It was one-word answers from me.
So we probably talked about this. Overall, we talked about it for less than 30 seconds. And you consider that to be too much interaction when we make our pick.
I wouldn't think it was too much interaction, but I
Okay,
don't
'cause you
listen.
complained
You
about it.
think long, you think wrong. You thought too long
Well,
about
not
Denver. I said fine. Then we go Buffalo. We went
this
Buffalo.
time.
So thank you, John Murray, for
No, you're
pestering
welcome.
me so that I didn't have 4 Survivor losers. I just had 3.
Pestering you for 30 seconds. We move on to week 3. How did Denver lose that game? That's ridiculous. How could that possibly happen?
Because
They
they're a
were
bunch of
21.
giant assholes. That's
Wow,
why.
that's
Let me
a
tell
ridiculous
you.
one.
Let me tell you how my Sunday went. Seattle. I have
I'm looking.
no idea how I did not lose that game in overtime. Probably because they won the coin flip.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I would have lost my mind. Had
I
5.5.
like Seattle.
That game landed 6. My dad's TV would have been broken. I had the Jaguars who just kicked field goals, thinking you can beat the Kansas City Chiefs kicking field goals. We all know you can't do that. And then I had the Denver Broncos up 21-3. Oh, and then by the way, I had the Bears in a teaser who had multiple opportunities to cover said teaser, yet they just suck.
What does our producer SuperBook unit think of Justin Fields right now? This is
I don't know, but he did all of
sad.
my videos, all 32 videos. So he knows exactly what I said about Justin. And I actually just retweeted it just for fun to remind everybody what a jackass I was for thinking that the Bears could go in and keep it within a touchdown in Tampa. Because I knew exactly who Justin Fields was. And I knew exactly the issues that were happening in Chicago. And I elected to do so anyway.
Chicago has a lot more issues. There's a report on the internet today. Their defensive coordinator's home was raided by the FBI. We're recording the show Wednesday afternoon.
That.
I don't know anything else. All I know is I saw that. I don't even know if it's true yet, but we'll see what happens there.
Oh boy. I don't know if I'd like being raided by the FBI. I think that would be like on my bottom 5 list of things to happen.
That would be bad. We move on in Survivor. Kelly, I'm going to try to keep our conversations about week 3's pick under 15 seconds this week. I don't want to bother you too much.
Who are we taking? Are we taking? So the Ravens are all banged up. I hate the Jags because I took the +9 in the Texans. I don't want to touch the Lions.
No, I don't want to.
Do we go Niners on Thursday night?
No, the Niners play on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And
we're already taking the Cowboys and we're already taking the Chiefs.
We'll see.
We can also take Miami on Thanksgiving. Don't forget.
I mentioned to you, I thought maybe we could save Miami for Thanksgiving because everyone is going to use Dallas.
Correct.
So we could talk about.
But we're not going to use San Francisco against Seattle, and we're not going to use San Francisco against Baltimore. So why do we need to save them?
It's not a bad thought. And speaking of that game, Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley are both out tomorrow for the Giants. The Giants escaped, we'll call that, last Sunday, kept one of my Survivor entries alive with an easy win against Arizona. We'll talk about that. We'll talk offline. I'll try to keep the interaction short.
Listen, if we actually somehow make it to like Thanksgiving, after that, we cannot talk about it on the show. Like, unit cannot be making graphics telling people what we're picking. Like,
why not?
Because at that point, we'll be playing for like $9 million. Like, we'll never have to do this show again if we win $9 million, John Murray.
This is all thought. We're not going to do the show anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter. This is all fodder for your listeners, isn't it? This is on my rundown.
You don't want to do the show? We're actually contractually obligated to do the show until the Masters. So
no, I meant after this year. No, we'll do the show.
But if we win $9.7 million, we're not doing the show.
No, we're not. We'll probably never talk again. We'll probably
go perfect.
We'll get our money, and I'll never. That'll be it. We'll shake hands.
And I never hear from you ever again. I love that idea.
Fine with me. Next thing on the rundown, another NFL game lands 1. That can't be right. NFL games don't land on 1, so those are not possible scores. What game landed 1?
Oh, I don't know, John Murray.
No, I don't.
Packers Falcons landed 1. Packers blew it. I actually got to catch the end of that. Maybe Atlanta's looking a little bit better than I thought. I didn't know what I was going to see from Atlanta.
I like Atlanta. I like what I see out of their offense. I like that coach. Most of the coaches in the NFL are boneheads. I don't think he's a bonehead. And I'm going to need you're going to have to hold my hand through this one. I was at the Rockies-Padres game on Monday. I didn't see any Monday Night Football. When did Nick Chubb go out of the Browns-Steelers game? What happened?
It was bad. I actually was on the other channel, so luckily I didn't see it. So I don't know exactly when he went out, but that was not fun. I can tell you that. Our good friend Ariel Epstein got obliterated on the internet for asking why they didn't show the replay because, well, I don't know.
I love Ariel. How does one get obliterated on the internet? So she
just
said
like
something
in the mentions, like acting like she was a horrible person. She was just asking why they didn't show the replay. Like sometimes they show the replay, sometimes they don't. I don't know their rhyme or reason. They showed it live at the place formerly known as Heinz Field because you could hear the crowd groan.
What's Heinz Field called now?
I don't remember. It's not part of my job description to know the field names.
We didn't refund any of the Nick Chubb bets.
I mean,
shocker. Is this going to be like a weekly thing now where people like if you
do you think it's like a PR scam? Do you think it's like, oh, look at us, we're so great. Like we refunded 94 people's bets because
you can't win. Do you remember when this is probably 2 years ago? John Rahm had a big lead after the third round. I think it was at the Memorial. It doesn't matter. And then they told him when he got off the 18th green on Saturday that he had COVID.
Yeah.
So I remember there was a prominent sports book that paid out Rahm tickets as winners. And then the next day, there was an NBA playoff game, and James Harden got hurt right at the start of the game. And everybody on Twitter, it was called Twitter back then. Now it's called X. Everybody on what was then known as Twitter was complaining about how they weren't refunding the James Harden bets. This was like less than 24 hours.
Created monsters. I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. Like
I agree.
These sports books created monsters. I don't remember who the first time. I think it might have been Ariel's new employer. I can't remember who it was, but I remember I was at the Golden Nugget with mutual friend Tony Miller, and I don't know if I was doing an interview like I used to do with you, or if I was doing something for the proxy service. But I remember they refunded some bet. And I was like, oh my God, like that's crazy. And he goes, yeah, well, only 91 people actually bet it. And it was less than a couple $100,000 they ended up paying out. And look how nice and good they look. And I'm like, oh, so every single time now I just assume that's what it is. It's just like PR purposes.
But you're going down a slippery slope. I did the show last week with John Hoagland. And we talked about like how far into the game do you refund? Aaron Rodgers got hurt on the fourth play of the game. Apparently, neither one of us know when Nick Chubb got hurt.
I think it was before halftime. Well, I didn't know you were going to ask me. Like I said, I was watching the Panthers-Saints game. So
why were you watching Panthers-Saints?
You want to know what I was really doing? I was actually doing laundry because both games were so freaking boring. I didn't care. So I was just flipping back and forth, folding laundry, trying to get my life in order, and wasn't really paying attention. And yeah. It's
part of the bet.
I had Steelers in a teaser. Like it was just like
when you make
I didn't need the stress.
When you make a bet, one of the players you bet on might get hurt. And if you bet a player prop, that player might get hurt. Do we need to say any more than that? It's part of the gamble.
Unfortunately, yes. Trust me, I've been on losing sides of a lot of those.
College football week 3 was lousy. That was a very weak card. Although West Virginia did beat Pitt.
Good job.
First time Pitt had been in Morgantown in 12 years. That was a great win for West Virginia. That was an awesome night for the Mountaineers. Let's go to week 4. There's some really good games this week. Do you want to take the ball here? Tell me what games you're excited about. They're seriously a really good card.
I actually just posted SuperBook put up some stuff on Instagram like, oh, FSU, Clemson, oh, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Alabama. And there was like one more. And I literally just commented, I could care less about any of these games.
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Ohio State, Notre Dame. I have no. Did Ohio State decide on a quarterback yet? I mean, Sam Hartman looks great. Seems a little trappy to be 3-point home underdogs. Don't want any part of that one.
So this college football card doesn't excite you? These games?
No. I don't have any desire to have any action on them.
Oh, that's
ridiculous. Nick Saban, same boat. He doesn't know which quarter. I mean, he's going back to what? Milton? Is that where he decided he's going to go back to? I mean, they were running 3 different quarterbacks against USF.
I think his name is Milroe.
Milroe.
They should go back to him. He gives them their best chance.
And maybe he does. I don't know. But like when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. When you have 3 quarterbacks,
You got some
I don't know,
serious
but I
problems.
also think that Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, looks like a square dog. Don't want any
Give
part of
me
it.
your picks. Give me your underdog parlay. I believe it's known as the Hottie Threesome, but I get yelled at sometimes. Why don't you give me your picks and the Hottie Threesome or whatever it's called now, and then I'll run through some sharp plays I saw.
So I already bet Cincinnati plus 14
Okay.
versus Oklahoma. No, I did not put them on the money line. I bet Baylor plus 14 against Texas. I am going to be
You hate
actually,
Texas.
you know what?
I'm interrupting you. You hate Texas, though.
I don't hate Texas.
Yes, you do. You always pick
No,
against them. Yeah, you do.
I'm sorry. They get too many
not
points.
accepted.
What do you want from me?
You don't like Texas.
I'm 2-0 betting against Texas this year.
What was your third pick? I'm sorry I interrupted you. That was my fault.
I actually lied. There is on that graphic that the unit posted on Instagram. I'm going to take the under in the Oregon Colorado game. My buddy Joe talked me into it, under 70.5. It's going to be absolutely and utterly disgusting. And I'm not going to watch a second of the game because I'm going to be terrified the entire time. 70.5. What do they think this is? Texas Tech, West Virginia?
What are you so terrified of? Like what?
That's
gross.
Worst
case scenario is the game would go over and you'd lose. You're terrified of
it. So I'd rather not subject myself to that. I'd rather just flip through the thing and it's 24-17 halftime. Okay, that's not great. Just keep flipping. Find something else to watch. Okay, my Friday night I did bet San Diego State plus 7. It's currently I think 6.5. I was looking at Purdue, but I have not bet them yet for Friday night. So keep an eye there. Penn State, rather intriguing. I am not that high on Iowa this year. Find it very, very interesting. Low total there. Kind of probably will keep me off betting Penn State, but I'm going to definitely be looking at the Lions there. The parlay, Memphis plus 6.
Memphis.
I'm betting against North Carolina for the second week in a row. I'm standing behind that. North Carolina is not that good.
Are you betting Memphis?
Defense did a great job.
Are you picking Memphis because you hate Missouri because they beat Kansas State? You can just be honest.
I said that I didn't like K-State in that spot, but they just won their Super Bowl. Now they're 6 points on a neutral field in St. Louis. But they start SEC play next week. They look like absolute hot garbage in their first 2 games against games they didn't care about. I wouldn't be surprised to see a letdown spot there.
Do you hate Missouri? Do you hate the University of Missouri, Kelly?
No, I went to one of their basketball games in January. I even wore a tiger tail.
Well, I want to make sure that your fans know that sometimes you let your biases seep in.
You know what I love? Money.
Well, I know, me too.
So I don't really care about fandom. The third one is going to be Auburn. This one's going to be tough. I went back and forth between SMU beating TCU, which if you remember, I bet against TCU last week.
Yep.
I like Auburn here. Listen, Hugh Freeze.
No?
He concerns me, but I do think Auburn is going to give them an absolute utter dogfight. We will see if they can do it. Look, A&M's just been a terrible home favorite, especially in home openers. Look, they looked good last week. What do you expect?
Do you want me to have the guys boost your Hottie Threesome?
No, of course not. Why would I want you to boost?
No boost. Quickly, sharp action we saw here. Kelly called him a square dog. Maybe they will be, but we did have a sharp group take Ole Miss plus 7. They're on the road against Alabama in a game I'm excited about. Kelly is not excited for Ole Miss Alabama. What do you mean? It's a good game.
What's to be excited?
It's college football. It's a real sport. It's great.
Okay.
Also, this one I just found interesting. They laid 7 with Maryland. Maryland's on the road at Michigan State. It's just interesting to see Maryland laying a touchdown in East Lansing. That's how much Michigan State's football program has fallen off.
Well, yeah, they just fired Mel Tucker.
I know. I know that. Now they're at 8.
You're not going to comment on that?
No, ma'am. I can't. I can't get in trouble if I don't comment on stuff. You just say no comment.
Plead the fifth. Okay. I just was curious if you got it and did a deep dive into what actually happened there.
Absolutely not. Have you? I don't know anything.
Yeah, of course I did. I was in the D. I gotta get all the tea. I messaged a couple people that I knew that had some good intel.
I got a quick bone to pick. I'm sorry. I asked you to talk about our survivor pick for 30 seconds and you yelled at me, but you're in the tea about Mel Tucker.
This was 2 weeks ago.
All right.
First of all, I was in mourning, and you're asking me about Survivor. I wanted everything to lose. Second of all, this is like 2 weeks ago. I was bored sitting on my couch on a Friday afternoon. Completely different scenarios, John Murray.
Yeah, that's true. That was a bad example. Virginia Tech against Marshall. Saw some sharp money there. And Notre Dame. They took 3.5 with Notre Dame.
Okay.
And when you're down to 3, let's go to the NFL. Kelly and I might use the 49ers on Thursday night. We can talk about it. No one else is going to use them. Everybody else
Me
is
and Chris are
saving them.
definitely going to use them.
We could. I don't mind it. I don't mind using them and then rooting for carnage on Sunday.
Here's my my one caveat with the Niners, and this is where I'm wondering, like, strategy wise, what we want to do.
Don't overthink yourself, Kelly. You've yelled at people.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah,
but Brett brought this up when I was looking. So he had the Lions against my best bet, the Seahawks. So I felt really bad that they did win outright, but I also sprinkled on the money line, so I didn't feel that bad. But he had the Lions in Survivor. And so he's like, here, I'll share my roadmap with you. If you just want to kind of see how we had things a little different. And he said that he thinks that we should save teams like the Eagles and the Niners for weeks 17 and 18. I said, well, if they've already locked up their division, they've already locked up a top spot. And he's like, yeah, but they may be playing for home field advantage. So kind of looking at that, sometimes you want to work backwards a little bit. So that would be my one asterisk on some of those teams. Maybe we need to go back to week 18. But then also, like, what if we save a team and then they rest everybody and then we're like, cool, why'd we save that team?
I would say even more than that. We don't know what teams are going to look like that far in the future. Quarterbacks are going to get hurt. There are teams that we consider elite right now that will not be elite by then. Somebody's going to come out of nowhere and it's going to turn out they're one of the top teams. And we don't know that right now. So I don't.
You're right. I went out after Thanksgiving with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, only to be in Pittsburgh and find out that Big Ben's not playing and the line gets obliterated. And then the game ended in a tie. Ties are great. Let me tell you, especially for Survivor. I was cheering very hard for a tie, actually, in a couple of games this weekend, and it just didn't happen.
I'm fine with saving teams, especially a team as good as San Francisco, but I'm not too concerned about week 17 and 18 right now.
True. Survive in advance.
What do you like in the NFL? What's your best bet? Your NFL best bets are good.
They are good.
I know that. What's your best bet?
I always like to find a dog that I think can win outright. The first week was the Colts. Obviously, that did not work out well for me.
Yeah, but that was the right side.
Yeah. Oh, I love telling people how right of a side it was. +6, closes 4. Yeah, it felt great. Anyway, right sides don't pay my bills, John Murray. Last week was the Seattle Seahawks. They got the outright win.
I gave Seahawks on Nesson. I do a show with Sam Paniatovich.
Oh, good.
I gave out Seattle and that won. It was good.
His co-host Claudia is going to be filling in for me on CNBC next Friday because I have to go to a wedding. Anyway, Tampa +6.5 is where I will be Monday night. My girlfriend is flying in for the game, and this line is now 5. So I've already got my trophy prepared for when I cash all the CLV and they lose by 2 touchdowns.
I didn't see anything on that game, but I did see this. I saw Bills. They took Buffalo. They laid 5.5 and 6. They're on the road against the football team, the Commanders, the undefeated Commodores of Washington.
I love playing road chalk. It's my favorite.
That'll be all Bills fans in Washington for that game. Yes, I do. They took Atlanta, 3.5. Atlanta getting 3.5 points. Atlanta's 2-0. Atlanta's off to a really good start. This one was interesting. They took the Raiders. The Raiders are now a 2.5-point favorite at home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh probably should have lost on Monday from what I heard. I heard they had 2 defensive scores in that game. That's pretty fortunate. And then Monday night, there's 2 Monday night games again. What's up with that?
Yes.
They took Cincinnati.
I love how they just overlap.
Yeah, what's up with that? How is it not a true doubleheader?
It's so
Cincinnati -2 against the Rams. And the Bengals are now.
I don't know. I am not buying. Joe Burrow and that offensive line are not well.
I'm going to blow through this fast because I know you don't want to talk about this. I'm going to go fast. These are Survivor suggestions from listeners on X. That's the social media platform that used to be called Twitter.
Why are we getting? Okay.
I don't know. I guess one of our producers posted this.
Okay.
One guy suggested the Bengals against the Rams. So what do you think of this? I think people go a little too creative with these. Like I saw
listen, I
people.
get you said it. You want to zig when others zag, but
I
like
get
I'm
that.
not trying to like drive off a cliff.
No, I get that, but like I saw people week 1 saying that the mathematical thing was to use Arizona because nobody else would be using them.
Yeah, sure,
And,
sure.
and I understand that the thought process is you want to use a team you're never going to want to use again that very few people have. I understand all that stuff and it makes sense. But do you really need to take a touchdown underdog to do that? Like you can't find a team that's closer to a pick 'em that hardly anybody's using that you're never going to want to use again. I don't know that's like galaxy brain math that a young man from Virginia can't comprehend. We're not going to use the Bengals. We're not going to use the Bengals.
We're definitely not going to use the Bengals.
The other two suggestions, this guy suggested Seattle. They're at home against Carolina. I heard Young might not play for Carolina. I'm not convinced that makes Carolina worse. Are we sure that makes them worse if he's hurt? I don't know about that. And then the other game, Jacksonville. Now that'll probably be the most used pick this week. They're at home against Houston. But I know my partner isn't going to want to use them because she doesn't trust Jacksonville. She doesn't want to play.
I'm on the Texans +9.
She doesn't want to play a division game.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And I had a third reason. I don't remember what it is. I don't know.
Okay.
I had a third reason.
What about the Lions? How scary is the Lions this week?
I don't know. That's a little scary. I don't know.
Yeah, the Lions was on the list. Baltimore, Miami, Kansas City, Jacksonville, San Francisco, Dallas.
What do you think about, and I'm not even saying I want to do it, but what do you think about using Kansas City? Because just for this reason alone, this may very well be the most any team is favored the entire season in the NFL. You talk about saving teams. I don't think you can use Kansas City because there's so many options this week. But you might not see a game all year where a team is a bigger favorite than the Chiefs are this weekend.
You're not. But what are they going to be to Las Vegas on Christmas? 9?
Not whatever they're going to be on Sunday against the Chicago Bears.
The Giants? 7? San Fran's going to be like 3 to Baltimore. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, I hear you. But again, everyone is going to save Kansas City for Christmas. I'm not even advocating to use Kansas City. I'm not saying
Let's use them. Let's just use them.
I don't want to.
Oh, well, then why'd you bring them up?
Just because we have to fill a show, Kelly. Did you look at the mailbag questions we got?
I did.
Do you want to read them to me, or do you want to read? Do you want me to read them? Or
I will read them to you. Let me close out all the browsers that I have open. That is not this, including my parlay write-up. And now I don't
remember to make the joke that it's X now, not Twitter. That's a key joke.
Yeah, I can't make that joke. Okay. Wise Guy Wager on X says, after the third week of college football, can you each give your predictions for the 4 NCAA playoff teams? And let's see how your predictions do. See how your predictions end up. Thank you and have a great week.
I should have read these questions.
Yeah, I know. I screwed up already.
You go first. I don't know.
It's okay. Do you want to know what I did earlier on Wager Talk? I was talking about Debo, aka Dabo Sweeney, and I kept calling him. I'm telling you, my brain is broken.
I knew that. Your brain's been broken for a few years, but
I think it has. Actually, let's not blame it on anything else.
You want me to give? I'll give 4 first.
I want you to go first, and I'm gonna give me 30 seconds because I did not read these prior. Shocker.
Well, you know my pick to win it all. Obviously, it's Coach Harbaugh, my guy.
Okay. Why? You think Michigan's gonna win it all?
I just love Jim Harbaugh. I think he's funny. He's so intense that it just amuses me. So let me go with Michigan. I'll assume that Georgia gets their act together. I don't know what the hell that was on Saturday, but I'll just assume that they'll get it together. I got to go Homer. I got to go with my fellow Gonzaga alum, Caleb Williams and USC. And I guess I got to pick a 4th team. Is Alabama going to get their act together or no? I guess
I don't know. I think that's what I was talking about. Dabo Sweeney today, and I think that some of these coaches are not adapting quick enough. One thing Deion's doing right, the transfer portal. And I don't know if Clemson's going to get their act together this week against FSU. Is it a buy low spot on them? Absolutely. Do I want to bet on them? Absolutely not.
I'll go a little wacky. I'm going to say Michigan, Georgia, USC, and Notre Dame. How about Notre Dame gets into the college football playoff, second year with Marcus Freeman? Finally have a coach.
They're gonna get
finally have a quarterback. Finally have a quarterback.
I bet they get in. I'm with you, and I bet they get obliterated. So I'll go Notre Dame as well.
Okay.
I will go Texas because I hate them so much.
Yes, you do. You hate Texas.
I hate them so much.
I know you do. It's sad. It's so weird.
We'll go Georgia. And then, do I really? I guess I'll go USC. I'll leave the Big Ten out. I'll leave the Big Ten out.
Great. That's great. Who's going to keep track of that, though? I'm not going to remember.
That's Wise Guy's job. It's not mine.
No. Let's have Louis do it. Social media, Louis D. Louis, you got that. Go ahead and All right, next question.
Here's an interesting one. Vince in PGH on X says, any early action to report on the Canelo fight? How live is Charlo?
I'm going to the fight. That's in 2 weeks. Actually, that reminds me, I got to do something on that fight for work. Hold on, I got to make a note up for my actual job. Not really. I
actually need to pay you for this show too.
No,
that's on my to-do list for this week.
I forgot we got to get the undercard up for that event. And I meant to do that today, and then I forgot until just this moment. So we got to get the undercard up for that fight. That fight's 2 Saturdays from now at T-Mobile. I haven't seen a whole lot yet. I mean, the price has gone up a little bit. Canelo's a pretty big favorite. You know, he's fighting the bad Charlo, which is kind of unfair. There's 2 Charlos. The twin brother. His brother is better than him.
Okay.
Although they're both
fighting the least.
Yeah, he's fighting the lesser. Bad is a tough one.
The lesser of the brothers. So it's like Charlo. Logan and Jake.
Right. Well, who's the lesser
Charlo?
Paul brother?
I don't know. But I do get to meet them this weekend in Miami.
Really?
That's a whole thing.
Well, Jake Paul is the better fighter. Jake Paul's a pretty legitimate fighter.
I think he's the one. I honestly don't know. This shows you how much I don't know. My life is so not focused on celebrities and things that don't matter to me.
Is that because you're a celebrity, so you don't care about what other celebrities do?
All right. At Bets Bald on X says, why does Kelly in Vegas hate Notre Dame so much? First of all, I just put them in the college football playoff. How do I hate them? And if I'm loving the Irish this weekend, should I go money line versus the +3?
This question's for you.
No, it's not. It's for you.
Why does Kelly in Vegas?
What is their money line at this? Let's look at SuperBook Sports. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Let me open up the app and I will look at the current money line. I have to use the New Jersey app, by the way, in case anybody cares.
How can the question be for me? It's why does Kelly hate Notre Dame? This is for you.
I don't hate them at all.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Would you take? Oh God. Why is it so much scrolling?
This is why we have people that edit the show. You know,
so that I'm not just scrolling and scrolling.
Are not good for business.
You're an awkward pause. Okay. +135 at SuperBook Sports. Yeah. Or +3 -110, John Murray. Which is the better?
No. Don't get all cute and take the money line. Like I see that where like a sharp group takes the points.
We're talking about 45 cents here.
It's not insignificant, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think if you like Notre Dame, you should take the points. Stick it to Kelly. Kelly hates him.
He's a Notre Dame fan. He's not going to be happy if they lose.
How do you know this guy's a Notre Dame fan? You know at Bets Bald?
That's why I hate them.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
only
that's true.
fans get emotional like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
this guy's Rousey.
The answer is you shouldn't bet him if that's your favorite team, sir. Go ahead. Next question.
In the Survivor League, would you try to use strategies early or just take the sure thing in advance and worry about strategy later? Actually, we already kind of talked about this. John Murray and I are just going to survive in advance this week with the Niners.
We did talk about it, and I think people get a little bit too cute early on. They go too far against the grain. But I understand.
Like I did with Denver this week?
No, I understand the thought process because there's so many people in this pool. To realistically win, you got to zig when others zag. But people that take touchdown underdogs in week 1, it's too far for me. It's too far for me.
All right. We haven't heard from Kevin in a long time. At 5, Kevin Boss. On X said, what's the funniest reason John Murray has ever heard for why someone is making a certain bet? For example, Lakers -6 because there's 6 letters in the name, the Padres on Father's Day, etc. Yeah, John Murray, tell me about your ticket writing days and how many ridiculous things you ever heard.
That was a long time ago when I was a ticket writer. That was about 16
You're
years
still a
ago.
ticket writer to me.
I don't know. I'm not
Could
a
you
funny
write a
person.
ticket if the Westgate SuperBook needed you to? Could you still do
No,
it?
I can't.
Because you have to
Legally, I
use a
can't.
computer now. You
No,
can't
legally,
handwrite them anymore.
I can't write tickets because I can move lines. That's a gaming rig. So you can't
Oh.
be somebody who writes the tickets and has the ability to move lines. And plus, I don't know how to.
So you really are kind of a bookmaker, even though you try to pretend like you don't.
I don't know. I don't recall anything
When's
funny.
the last time you went in the back and you demanded them move a line?
Well,
You said you need to move this.
I move lines on fights all the time. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, like NFL
I thought you just
stuff.
sat in your office and watched baseball and then reprimanded people for not wearing their mask.
I do
At least
both.
that's what it was like the last time I was there.
I do both of those things. I yelled at Randy for not wearing a mask just a couple of days ago. But no, and I was watching baseball this morning. But no, I still get involved in the fight stuff. The NFL, we have Ed Salmons. Why would I get involved in the NFL with Ed there? He's an NFL
That's what I mean. I don't even know why you still have a job.
I don't know
either.
either.
To do stuff like this, you're really good for business as far as like the quality of camera you use and the great lighting and the sound.
The production values at the Westgate are terrific. There's no question about that. I don't have any funny stories about a guy's reason for making a bet, but one time when I was a ticket writer, this guy comes up to my window and he literally just dumped a bunch of bills and coins on my counter. And he's like, I want to bet this much on the Tampa Bay Rays. And it took me about 5 minutes. I mean, think about how long that is to count
like actual
all the bills.
Like coins.
Yeah, like coins, like nickels, dimes. I think there were some pennies in there. We don't accept pennies anymore. This was a long time ago. This was a different economy because back then a penny was a lot of money. So we would, I added it all up and I said to the guy like 2 or 3 times, like, this is $184.20. Do we agree on that? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Whatever, just print it. I print the ticket for him and they won. The Rays won the game and they were pretty close to a pick 'em. So he doubled his money. Good win for that guy who I got the feeling he was not having the best day.
Oh,
but he did.
Well,
he did win.
I'm glad he got to go out on top.
Well, I don't think he went out. I don't think he's dead.
No, I missed for the day. You said he wasn't having a very good day.
Well,
like
go out on top.
Even if you have a crappy day, it's nice to end the night on a winner. Like just okay, at least like you live to bet another day. Like you end the night on a loser. You're just like, this sucks.
I want you to do me a favor this weekend. I want you to take it easy. Don't get so bent out of shape about these games.
I'm literally going to Miami and then I'm going to Tampa. I'm going to have a very long, busy week. I have 2 more Wager Talk shows to do in the next 5 minutes. I've got a full day tomorrow. I got grandma's birthday on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to have not too many margaritas at dinner because I got a radio spot at 10:30, I found out. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was 7:30. And they're like, yeah, Pacific time. I'm like, oh boy. So I'm going to have to be on my best behavior.
Aren't you sober in September?
I was. And then last night I went to a birthday dinner and I was like, you know what? I made it 3.5 weeks. I had a shitty week. I'm going to have a glass of wine. So for grandma's birthday.
You consider 20 days, 3.5 weeks? Today's September 20th.
Well, first of all, I started before when I left Las Vegas. My first day sober was August 27th. So if you'd like to add 4 days to that, that would be a half of a week.
I'm sorry. So is this official? We're using the 49ers tomorrow. And then we're going to just root for
We're going to talk about it.
We'll talk about it offline, and then we'll get to the graphics, guys.
Yes.
I'll talk to you next week, kid.
Bye.